Good morning, ladies. How are you? Look, we have the little nugget right here. But, anyways. I feel like I have something in my eye that I don't know. Anyways, so, I don't know. I've been through a lot, growing up. This might trigger a lot of people, but I'm gonna tell my story. I did a panel the other day, and it actually helped with my recovery process. And I'm gonna be doing more panels at recovery homes and women groups and everything else like that. No, I'm on recording. Anyways, so I am Cheyenne. I'm alcoholic and an addict. Well, the drugs came into play after I got too intoxicated to understand why I'm doing it. So, anyways, so I am Cheyenne. Again, I am 28. I am a single mom of 2 boys. One is 5, going to be 6, and one is 1, going to be 2. Dexter, which is my oldest, was born November, and Damien was born January. Damien's my New Year's baby, and Dexter was born on the 22nd of November. Anyways, so I am a single mom. I have been struggling with addiction for a really long time. My mother was an alcoholic, and my mother and my dad got divorced when I was 6 months old, and my dad married my mom's best friend. Okay, well, my dad hasn't been in my life. Well, he wasn't in my life up until I was probably 13. So I have really bad issues about abandonment and codependency. I wanted to replace that gaping hole in my heart with something else, and that's when I discovered, well, alcohol. I had a couple sips of my mom's beer when I was very young, but that wasn't, it was fine. It was just a party at the house, and, every kid sips a beer every once in a while. So that was my first taste of beer when I was probably 8. So anyways, I do have 4 older brothers, and my brothers are the ones that I actually thought of as a father figure, since they're the only males that I had in my life for a really long time, up until my dad. But they were in and out of jail, probation, prison. They were doing drugs and alcohol, and I was around it all the time. So I thought it was gonna be, it was fine. My mom was an alcoholic, like I said. She also used to do Xanax. There was times where I had to pick my mom up off the floor and pick her up off the floor. I'm like, 6 years old, 8 years old, and I had to drag my mom to the bedroom so she could sleep. At that time, I had to grow up. I had to take care of my brothers. They were, they were dependent on my mom taking care of them. But in that process, my mom was so drunk, I had to take care of them because they were doing what they were doing, and I was the little girl that, had to hold things together. I had to, find money and pay bills. I had to find, change and everything so my mom wouldn't be broke. In that process, my mom started selling weed. She sold weed for almost 15 years. and she was a tattoo artist, and she, you know, her eyes are bad, so she can't really tattoo anymore. But she sold weed, and it was local. Like, she had to go everywhere to go pick it up, and, you know, had it in the house and stuff like that. But there was one time where I was 12, and the cops raided my house and arrested my mom. So in that process, I was homesick on the couch, and I had 106 temperature. I was like burning up, and an officer grabbed me from the couch and took me outside, and there was guns everywhere in my house, and it was insane. Well, since my mom was arrested, they asked me if I could go somewhere else. Well, I told them I do have a dad, but I'm not gonna be in that situation where my dad is coming in my life. He wasn't there, so I don't want to be there. So they took me into group home, and there I got into a fight because I was the only black girl there, white girl there, and it was a black girl. So when we got in a fight, they automatically said I was racist, and that's why I beat her up. No, she stole my shoes, but that's what they did not get out of that whole situation. I was racist because she was black. No, she stole my shoes, and I beat her up. Well, anyway, so I went from one group home to another, and another, and another, and another, until I was in foster care. Well, foster care was the same thing. I, you know, got in a fight with another woman or girl because she stole my hair straightener. God, I fight a lot. Anyways, we fought, and we got broken up and stuff like that with the group home members, and it was either I went to juvie because I started the fight, or my dad picked me up. So they called my dad, and they said that I'm gonna go live with my dad. Well, at the time, I did not know my dad. I didn't want anything to do with my dad. So I decided that I would rather go to the juvie. But my dad didn't want me to do that. So my dad came up, and he stepped to the plate. I found out I had a little sister that I had no idea I had. And when my dad came to pick me up, my little sister got out of the car, and she hugged me. And I was like, no, bitch, I didn't say that. But I'm like, no, go, like, I didn't say anything. In my head, though, I said, go away, I don't want you to be here, I don't want anything to deal with you, I don't want anything to deal with my dad. So I kind of like shut down. In that process, I had to go to my dad's house, which was my stepmom's house, which was my mom's best friend, and it just went downhill from there. I got raped when I was 13. Coping skill was I drank to numb the pain, and I wanted to tell everybody about my incident that happened when I was 13, but it was my brother's best friend, so I didn't really tell my brother, because it was like I took somebody's life into my own hands, because my brothers would totally like kill him. Do you understand that? Like, yeah. So I kept my mouth shut, and I took matters in my own hands, and I didn't do anything. I had to walk around this neighborhood seeing him every day, seeing him with other girls every day, seeing him with my brothers every day, and it definitely took a toll on me. I got really depressed, and I had anxiety, and the way to feel numb about everything was I drank. That was my only coping skill. With the abandonment issues and growing up early and everything else like that, that's the only way. So I drank a lot up until high school, where I actually was on the volleyball team. I did good in school, and I didn't really pay attention to the drinking. I had the volleyball that basically took the anger out of me. And, you know, I had art and everything else like that, so I didn't really, you know, drink. And then I got into a relationship with an older man who was a senior in high school, and I was a sophomore in high school, and we were together for a long time, all throughout high school. And he was very abusive. He, not really physically abusive, but mentally and emotionally abusive. He would come home from work, and he would come visit me at my mom's house, and he would automatically want to go through my phone. He left hickeys on my neck because he wanted to show everybody I was his property. And it sucked because my mom had to sit me down, and she said, "You're not the woman who I raised you to be. What happened to my daughter?" And I was broken. I was lost because I didn't know what to do. And the only way I ended that relationship is because I cheated on him. I felt trapped. And I never once in my life wanted to cheat on anybody because I know the feeling. And it sucked. And it carried a toll on me and on my body, on my mind, because I hurt somebody like that. But at the same time, he hurt me. He was very abusive, and it was the only way out. And he beat the shit out of me. My mom had to call cops, and so he was arrested when I was in high school. So after me and him broke up, I decided that I would be a go-go dancer and be free and be the person that I wanted to be. That involved drinking a lot, because the drinking made it so I could be a social butterfly and not, you know, believe that I, you know, was so broken. It showed me a new way to love, I guess you could say that. And people loved me when I was doing that. And, you know, I had parties all the time in my backyard, and beer pong and bonfires and everything else of that. I was a party girl for almost 2 years after me and my ex broke up. So after that, I got into another, at 19, I got into another relationship, and that is my ex, my Dexters Dad. And I spent almost 4 years with him, and he was very abusive. He mentally, physically, the whole 9 yards and everything else like that. And I have a restraining order on Dexter's Dad, but I don't want to get into Dexter's Dad because he's actually stepped up to the plate, and he's actually there for Dexter, and he's there for me, and I still have a restraining order, but it's for me. It's like a safety net if something was to happen. So he's a very good co-parent, and we actually get along, and we actually, you know, are there for Dexter. And he actually considers Damien as, you know, Dexter's little brother, and he respects Damien. But in that process, after me and Mike split up, I got into a relationship with Damien's dad, and I almost 3.5 years, and that was a mess because I got out of control with my drinking. He used meth, and he was very, very mentally and emotionally abusive, and it sucked because I knew it, and I wasn't done healing with Mike. I basically got into one relationship into another relationship without the healing process that I needed to do. And I was very vulnerable. I was a single mom, and I turned to my best friend of 10 years to take care of me and my son. And I knew that wasn't the best idea, but I still did it anyways. And it was a mess. He would leave me at parties. He would leave me at the beach. He would leave me at the bar. He would leave me everywhere. He would be staying up all throughout the night, and he was, you know, taking my car to Vegas. He was actually, he basically used me because I had a house, I had a car, I had the money, and now that I'm not in a relationship with him, I'm now fixing myself and healing myself and being the mom I needed to be for my boys. And I drank a lot with Dexter, and I feel so bad because I put my son through hell with all the fighting and the late nights and the abuse, and it sucks that I did that. But he's young and he'll heal, and I just need to be stronger. And now I am 28, and I'm a single mom of 2 boys, and I am sober about 5 months, and I'm doing panels and sharing my story. I opened up my own business. I went to school to be a certified herbalist, and I'm doing what I needed to do. I want to leave my sons with a legacy if something was to happen to me, and teach them where they came from, and how the little things in life can actually be more than what you expect. As long as you have that seed and you have a solid foundation for that seed, it will grow. It will grow to be a big tree or a beautiful flowers or anything. As long as you have that one seed and a solid foundation for the roots to grow, you'll have something beautiful. So that's my story, and it's definitely been an experience. Oh, also, I had a stroke. I didn't even mention that in my story. I had a stroke when I was 23. Dexter was only 5 months old. It was due to stress on my body and a blood clot in my arm that went through a hole in my heart into my brain. And I was in a hospital for 2 weeks. I had to reteach myself how to walk and talk and everything. All the motor function skills that I had were lost, and I had to reteach myself everything. Thank God for my sister and all the support that I had with that, because it made me who I am now, and it made me stronger. So I do have PTSD because of ongoing trauma and my stroke. I am bipolar. I do have anxiety and depression. Yeah, it's a book. Tractor. Purple. Yeah, trash truck. And to be honest with you, I have to give a big shout out to Tabby Baxter, and Jessica Nicole Brockway, because they helped a lot. Tabby was there with Dexter when I had my stroke, and she watched him a lot. Shout out to Sarah Pichelle and Holly Pichelle, because without you guys, I would be lost, because when I was in the hospital, you guys did take care of Dexter. My mom, big support of my life and my recovery. And shout out to my dad, because my dad, without you, I would be nothing. You showed me that people can change if they want to and take the steps to change. And shout out to myself, because I've been through hell and back, and I'm still standing.